So all of these things make it a lot easier. I mean, for someone who really wanted to do content creation, now is the time to do it because I come from an era where you had to hustle. Like you had, there was no, there was no shorts. There was no AI system. You had to do it all yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I've
There
heard
was
this
no,
story a
nowhere to
million
run.
times.
There are AI systems that can do pretty much anything that you can think of.
Welcome to the world of Eve Pacific. I'm your partner in evolution, Noble Woods. Our mission is to harness the power of advanced AI technology, merging it with our deep digital strategy expertise to deliver customized solutions across various business management systems. This episode is sponsored by Objective Investment Banking and Valuation. Their firm's name embodies the core mission to help business owners achieve their objectives. Our guest today is Jay Allen, a congestive heart failure survivor, a wellness advocate, an author, and entrepreneur. Jay's brand, Gangsta Holistic, was born from his journey of overcoming congestive heart failure, known as CHF, and the challenges associated with it, such as high blood pressure and heart and kidney issues. Now, he dedicates his life to helping others achieve optimal wellness by sharing his powerful story and the strategies that transformed his own health. His mission is to promote healing through practical, easy-to-understand advice based on his authentic experiences and passion for healthy living. In this episode, we'll delve into Jay's personal story, the birth of Gangsta Holistic, and his insights into overcoming health obstacles to achieve a balanced and thriving lifestyle. Whether you're dealing with similar health challenges or want to enhance your well-being, this episode offers invaluable insights and inspiration. Please join me in welcoming Jay Allen to Automation Evolution.
Jay Allen,
Hey, hey.
thank you for joining me here. This is the new launch of the new format of our podcast, where we're going to be focusing on veterans and minority-owned businesses and your success and how we believe that AI can effectively enhance your productivity. And provide a couple of suggestions along the way. But the most important thing that I want to highlight today is you and your unique brand,
Thank you.
you as an individual. But let's start off from how did Gangster Holistic come about?
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show, Mr. Noble Woods. You know what I mean? Happy to be here. Um, so basically, Gangsta Holistic, first of all, it's a health and wellness corporation. And the whole way that it got started was for me in 2016. I went through some severe health issues that kind of catapulted me into doing what I'm doing today. So basically, in 2016, late 2016, I think it was like in maybe late October. I was uh, I was having some different complications, and I ended up going to the emergency room, and I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, chronic kidney disease, and of course, I had high blood pressure attached to that. I stayed in the hospital for about a couple weeks, them running tests and doing all kind of different things to get me back up to par. And when I left the hospital, um, I was on different medications and things like that. Now, I used to also host a show years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, online radio called the Jay Allen Show. And on that show, we would have a lot of different uh, conscious brothers and sisters that some of them dealt with health. So I knew there was a herbal side to it, a holistic side to medicine. Um, And then, with me coming out of the hospital, then having me on all these different medications, I think I was on like 4 or 5 different medications. I just knew there was a better way for me. And that was something that I didn't want to, I didn't want that to be part of my story for long term. Because of course we know that all that stuff comes with side effects and things like that. So I was looking for a natural way to pretty much kind of heal myself. At that time, I was seeing 3 doctors: my primary care, my cardiologist, and my kidney specialist. And basically, I started just scouring the internet for different natural products, different herbs, and I came across black seed oil, right? Black seed oil, and it really changed my life. It wasn't just black seed oil, but it was a total change of lifestyle as far as me changing my diet, staying more active, and of course, taking these necessary herbs and things like that. It wasn't just black seed oil, but black seed oil played a significant part in my healing. And that's why I'm a strong advocate for black seed oil. So after about 3 to 6 months going back to my doctors, I completely reversed all my situations. The congestive heart failure, my ejection fraction on my heart was at a normal range. My kidneys were functioning optimally. So basically, I turned my situation around with using these herbs. So the one thing I told myself, I said, well, hey man, how can I how can I actually make this into my livelihood? That's what I asked myself at that time. At that time, I was working at a hospital at that time, and actually at that time, that was one of the, if you would have, if asking me, that was one of the lowest points of my life. I had to take a job as a janitor at a hospital, and it was just a degrading job. I can't say too much more about it. It
No,
was
trust me,
degrading,
I understand.
right?
I've done a lot to
So,
make money.
so I said, well, man, what can I do? So the first thing I did is I wrote a book. I wrote a book called Gangsta Holistic versus Volume 1. It was a comedic type of book that had a play on different herbal supplements and things like that. It was really different, but it was really simple. I, I got that book, published it. I self-published the book or whatever, had it for sale on Amazon. And then after that, I just kind of dove head first into Gangsta Holistic, and when I first started Gangsta Holistic, it was more so about the holistic lifestyle. And I did that for about maybe 6 to 8 months. And then I told myself I need to niche down into a
Right.
specific topic. I don't want to talk about everything holistic. I want to. So basically, what I started focusing on was what affected me, which was the high blood pressure, the kidney issues, the heart issues. So I labeled myself a high blood pressure consultant. And that's pretty much how the whole company came into play. I was also able to, so back in the day when I had the Jay Allen show, I also had a co-host who was my co-host. Her name was Dr. LaRonda Ward out of Atlanta, a young lady I went to school with back in high school. And I was talking to her. I said, you know what? I said, man, I really would like to, man, sell my own black seed oil. Healed me. I would like to sell my own. She said, well, Jay, she said, she's a naturopathic chiropractor. So she said, well, Jay, we have an herbalist that supplies a lot of our products. She said, you should talk to him. And she said, I think he'd be able to help you. And so she gave me his number. And long story short, me and him has been pretty much business partners for the last 4 years now. So, and that's how I came out with my first product, which was, we call it the Black Seed Experience, which is my black seed oil. And that's pretty much how the first part of, the things that I sell was birthed.
Wow. I'm just amazed at, well, not amazed at how you got here, but the
Yeah.
why, right?
Yeah.
You are one of the most creative individuals I've ever known.
Oh,
But
thank you.
yes, but the will, right? The will to change your situation. I hear this screaming out. And just to share with the audience, I met you over 20 years ago. You were producing music, right?
Right.
And so you are a very creative individual, but
Yeah.
you're a genuine individual. Gangsta
You
Holistic. When you
know,
first
it's funny, not to cut you off, Noble, but it's so funny because I feel like back then in the year 2000, when we were doing music, I
right,
feel like a lot of those things I still implement them today in what I do because I'm a one man band, so I do all the editing, all of the music, I do everything. So it's just like it's still part of what I use today. You know what I mean?
and that's why I was so interested in getting you on the platform because um, there are so many solopreneurs now, right? And with the advent of AI and its advances over the last 2 years, a lot of industries have been affected, especially in SEO and search, right? They've been affected negatively. But for solopreneurs, this has been, a godsend. You think about as a content creator, when you want to create that omnipresence and that, know, like, and trust on several different platforms, you are now enabled to produce this continuity across these platforms without spending so much time, right? Where you can leverage your time doing other things. And that's where I wanted to touch on when you talk about e-commerce. So a mutual friend of ours, Steve Graham, and I, we were in business and working in a clothing brand a couple of years ago when I first started the marketing agency. And what you were doing at that time was way ahead of what we were doing when it came to branding. So what is the difference from 2021 of how you create content and how you distribute it to 2024? What do you see as changing in you and in your processes that have came about during this period?
Well, I would say, you saying from the year 2000?
No, 2021,
Oh,
because
2021. Okay.
yeah, right. Oh,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
in the recent history, right,
Right.
of
Okay.
I've been
So,
watching your content and how it's changed, the graphics. We all evolve, right? In
right.
business, we
Right.
learn, we like more, better, greater. So you're on different platforms, but your branding has changed. How you create your logos and how you incorporate in your shorts. I see the different aspects of
Right.
your creativity in that. What and how do you create that new content? What
Well,
are some of the apps
I
you
think I
use?
think back then. Um, so one of my main things, man, is just really to stay very consistent. Always. I mean, that's if you're on social media, you have e-commerce business, you gotta be seen like every day.
Every
You have
day,
to be seen. It's just
multiple
something
times a day.
that has to happen. And it's just like as we go on, the technology is getting greater and greater. So, for instance, back in 2021, there were not a lot of AI systems in place and things like that. So I come from an era to where, let's say on Sunday, if I say, you know what? So this is the kind of guy I was. I would say on Sunday, I would say, you know what? I would grab about 15, 20 shirts on my closet. I would lay them on the bed. I would get my camera ready. And I said, okay, I at least want to put out 3 posts a day. That's about 90 reels. So I would write down 90 topics that I know I could just speak on like that. And I would actually sit there and record 90 reels. But the thing, but
Wow.
but the thing about it is, after you record those reels, and when you want to put those reels up on social media, they have to have a copy attached to them, right?
Right.
So I was writing that copy. That's a lot of work. It's a whole lot
Exactly.
of work.
No,
I
I
was writing,
understand.
Versus nowadays, you have different AI systems. One of them is ChatGPT, where you can actually have it write your copy for you, which saves a bunch of time,
Oh
right?
yeah, adding the emojis, the little rockets and bursting
Right,
bombs and the whole 9 yards, right?
right. And also they have like there's an app that I use called Big View.
Oh
Big
wow.
View is pretty much like, let's say if I write out a copy, I can paste it on the Big View, and it's like a teleprompter. You can speed it up, you can slow it down, and even when you're reading it, it has an AI system that if you're looking this way, it can focus your eyes to where
Focus.
it's looking straight at the camera. So like all of these different things, um, and then you have Opus.ai where it can take, like, let's say you do a live that's an hour, 2 hours long. You can put it into that system. It'll chop it up. It can chop it up into shorts. It can chop it up into, you can decide the 30-second clip, a minute and 30-second clip, a minute clip. So all of these things are things that, we really got to take advantage of. Um, even as well as like, they used to have Facebook Creator Studio, but same thing, MetaSuite,
Right,
MetaSuite, to where you
right.
schedule your posts out and things like that. So all of these things make it a lot easier. I mean, for someone who really wanted to do content creation, now is the time to do it because I come from the era where you had to hustle. Like there was no, there was no shorts, there was no AI systems. You had to do it all yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I've
There
heard
was
this
no,
story a
no
million times. The
right,
quick wardrobe changes, just the work
right.
behind creating the text and things of that nature. For me, I am in awe of not only the improvement in the quality, but the efficiency of how I, I admire those in e-commerce because I come from a sales background, right? You have
Right,
to, it's that the 10-80-10 rule. 10% of the people, they're going to be a lay down, and 10% of the people are going to hate you. If you were giving away 20s for $5, they wouldn't buy it from you.
right.
But then it's that 80%, how do you reach them? How do you reach them where they're at? I admire you for one, you, you don't have a persona. You have a brand that shows your true you. You are one of the most authentic gentlemen I've ever
I
met in my
appreciate it.
life, and very creative. So, and it comes through in everything that you do. I just remember the first conversation we had, I think about late, late 2020 or early 2021, when we were struggling. I had the fledgling digital marketing agency, but the bulk of the business was focusing on the brand. And you was just like, look, I can't continue to tell you guys the same things over and over again. There are certain truths in e-commerce that you're gonna have to follow, right? And then you were just like, hey, Instagram is the future. You need to be on the gram and you need to put these other things aside and focus. And for me, I'm always multi-channel. If I can reach somebody, in Instagram, I know I can get to them on TikTok because the platforms are similar, right? But you had always, you knew how to focus and to reach your audience, how to niche down. It was, I mean, for me, you were just ahead of your time, but and you always held those truths, which a guest prior to you always said, marketing is always going to be the same no matter what these tools are, right? You got
Yeah,
you
you
got to
know what, Noble?
separate yourself.
I really believe that I talk to a lot of people who want to get involved in it. They want to sell something over the internet. And I think that most people, when I talk to them, their major problem is they overthink things way too much. You know what I mean?
No,
Way too much.
yes.
So this is what I mean. I had a meeting with a young lady about a couple weeks ago. A good friend of mine wanted to get started with something she was doing. And she's like, okay, well, before I get started, I need to go out. I need to save up. I need to buy this type of camera. I'm like, don't you have an iPhone?
Right.
No, but I can use the iPhone. I said, you're overthinking this, man. It's
Right.
like you, so you put it out there and you just learn as you go. You can make
Right.
changes as you go. But for the
Right.
most part, if you look at some people, there are some people on the internet who they're I mean they might everybody shoots with their iPhone. So a lot of people shoot their iPhone. So it's
Oh,
like even
most
though you
definitely.
shoot with your I shoot with my iPhone. So it's like when you shoot with your iPhone or whatever it is that you have that may not be a camera, it's like, so what is all they want is consistency. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So your page is like it's like a TV channel. Okay, so if I'm watching TV, if I'm gonna turn my TV on right now, today is Tuesday. I don't want to turn my TV on Tuesday and see what was on there Sunday. It's the
Right.
same thing that's on Sunday. It
Right.
needs to keep changing. It needs to be
Right.
keep doing
Evolving.
something new.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about making content and steadily creating content is once you do it so much, then the beautiful part comes in there to where you can start to repost content. I repost a lot of content because when you put your content out there, only a certain percentage of your audience sees it. You know
Correct.
what I mean? So it's like you can continue to repost certain things and stuff like that. But I mean, I can't stress consistency enough, man.
Let me ask you this. Everybody says the holy grail is um, love what you do and do what you love. That's where we all want to be. With Gangsta Holistic, this was your story, right? Is this what you really love doing? What you do now? Because we were talking about being a janitor. I worked in a warehouse. you know, is could you do this all the time? Because people say when you're into content creation, it gets old and hard as you go along if it's not a labor of love. Can you
Well,
expound
I
on that?
love what I do, and my satisfaction is when I had these consultations with people and they tell me, Jay, I've been following your page for a while and I healed myself of this, or my situation changed because I watched that video where you said do this and I did it. And so that's satisfaction. That's gratifying to me. But I will say this. Have there been times where I'm just like totally exhausted? Hell yeah. You know? Yes.
Okay, that's what
Yes.
I'm saying. You're an
Because the thing about it
authentic
is
brother, man. Just tell it like it is, right?
it's work. You know what I'm saying? It's work. So it's just like there have been times where I get totally exhausted now. I will say this. Um, I'm at the point now to where I want to transfer into doing Gangsta Holistic a different way. So if it was up to me when I first started, I wouldn't have actually sold any physical products. You
Okay.
know, it's a lot of work. I don't package my own products. I have somebody that does that. But we have to understand when you do have physical products, you know, you have overhead that comes with that. So I suggest people, whenever someone comes to me with any type of idea, anything they want to sell, I always tell them you need to transfer that into a digital product. Whether you want to whether you want to teach somebody how to do it or something like that, because it's a lot easier. It's a
Yes.
lot easier. There's not, there's pretty much no overhead to it. And it's just like, I know for me, I don't want to be creating posts and doing it like that for the rest of my life with Gangsta Holistic. I don't. My
Okay.
goal right now here is to get into the high schools, go and teach my message there, get a contract as a vendor with some of these school districts and things like that, as well as speaking at different companies um, that dive into health and wellness for their employees and things like that. That's where I want to go. I want to do more speaking engagements. You know what I mean? Versus me being on the internet, um, because it's a lot of work.
Okay.
It is a lot of work.
So as you shift gears, I admire that, right? Because I've been a total recluse for the last couple of years. As you can see, I'm just totally relegated to being online. But getting out, doing speaking engagements, that's what you're meant to be on the stage. I
Yeah,
I know you from those days, and that is something that I could really see you doing forever, like a Dick Gregory, right? Passing on that knowledge, giving giving a piece of your story to impart that wisdom upon any age group to take with them. I could see that being very edifying for you.
yeah.
Um, as we move along and coming to the end of this conversation, I have to ask you, like I have all my previous guests, are you into Star Wars or Star Trek? Which side are you on?
Um, I don't watch any of them. Yeah, I've never
Oh
I've
my
never
God,
watched
you
Star
just
Wars
crushed my
or
viewership.
Star Trek.
So you don't watch
I'm sorry.
any sci-fi
No,
whatsoever. Okay.
no.
You are Gangsta Holistic is very realistic. I used to tell people that, when people talk about, being afraid of the dark and stuff like that, I was like, look, I grew up in Chicago. When I reached a certain age,
Right,
people scared me more than Freddy Krueger, Jason, Bloody Mary, any of that stuff,
right.
keeping it real. But I'm a nerd at heart. I had to ask you that.
Okay.
Um, but for me right now, as we're talking about this this content or creator economy, right? And we're saying that the actual commodity has to be either digital or physical, right? As you move, how do you segue out of the black seed experience? People are always going to want that from you, right? Do you sell that off? What do you do with Gangsta
You
Holistic
know
as you
what?
move into it?
Honest with you, right now, that that's a great question because even along with the black seed oil, we have some very popular products, man, that people they just buy a ton of it, man, And I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It might, I mean, as far as it might be something that goes on. I just don't want to have to promote it as much as I do. You know
Wow.
what I mean? I don't want so right now, as far as me selling physical products, that's my livelihood.
Right,
When
right,
I
right.
can shift my livelihood more over to the digital presence, then whether or not the black sheet oil sells, that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean?
I
So
hear you.
my yeah, so that's pretty much my goal, man. I mean, because black seed oil, man, it's really a part of me, man. I'm a strong advocate for black seed oil. I
Change
tell
your
people
life.
that if there was one herb that you could take for the rest of your life, it should be black seed oil. It's the beast of all herbs, and I say that not because I sell it. I say it because it has so many different benefits to it. So many different benefits. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to drop your links uh, down in the bottom of our description so people can check out Gangsta Holistic, that mega brand that so many count on for their health and wellness. Um,
Thank
Jay, is there anything that you want to impart to our audience, to your audience, which I hope we can cross pollinate somehow before we go? Anything that you'd like to pass on about the way things are changing and evolving with technology?
I would just say, right now is the time to get on that wave. I mean, it's the time to get on that wave, whether you learning AI for yourself to advance your own business, or whether you learning AI to possibly go and work for another business, like have businesses hire you so you can kind of grow their businesses and things like that. It's the perfect time to do it because this stuff is it's not as hard and complicated as a lot of you may think it is. It's really not. You know, and I think with a little bit of time, and I think with a little bit of effort, that anybody can do it. You know, and like I said, there are AI systems that, and I'm not even playing with you. You probably can vouch for this as well. There are AI systems that can do pretty much anything that you can think of. Am I
Definitely.
right?
Definitely. And a lot of them have been around and people have known about them, with the
Right.
utilization of APIs and Zapier and things of that nature. So thank you very much.
Hey, one
That
last
is,
thing. So
I'm
one
sorry.
last thing I want to say to people out there is, if you're a person, you want to start your own business, you're working a job, take some time out when you get home and work on your own thing. Just a quick story about me. It's like, I'm 47 years old. I didn't truly figure out life until my early 40s. Okay. I was a person, I was living in a studio apartment. I was making little to no money. I had my daughter to take care of. Um, I always knew I wanted to do something on the internet. I just never knew how to monetize it. Even before Gangsta Holistic, I ran a platform on Facebook where I had, and this is when we had no advertising. I had 276,000 followers on a page that I ran on Facebook. This is just through hard work and just posting information. So if I can do it and turn that into um, something special, then you can too. If I can, Noble, I like to end when I do my lives on Instagram. I like to end it with an affirmation. If you would allow me to do it, I would be more than
Of
happy to.
course.
Okay. So it goes like this. I call it the Gangsta Holistic Ode to Self. And if you want to listen to this, you can rewind it back, and come to the end of the thing and say it for yourself. So it goes like this. With each gift that is bestowed upon me, allow me to hold on to gratitude. My mind is in control of my body. My feet are planted in the overabundant waters of prosperity. Shower me with selflessness. Balance me with an ultimate love for myself. Ensure my mind stays intact, holding on to all knowledge I've acquired, as well as the humility to admit when I do not know. My thirst for something new is satisfied. Never concerned with the opinions of others, I am a part of that spark that changes the world by staying consistently me. That's it.
Consistently you. You are a unique individual, and I got much love for you and everything that you do. Thank you very much for joining me. And I hope this isn't the last visit.
Not at all, man. Anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for visiting with us. Thank you for your time, sharing your time with us here at Automation
Thanks
Evolution.
for having me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to you all out there, keep learning, keep evolving. Until next time, peace.
Peace.